Surge in support for the Labor government comes following the return of Kevin Rudd as Prime Minister, in case you missed it.
Now, Health Minister Tanya Plibersek joins us now. Minister, good morning to you. Welcome to Weekend Sunrise. The Cabinet due to be sworn in tomorrow. Will you still be Health Minister after that?
Well, I hope so. I'm not anticipating any change in my own role, but what I am expecting is a number of new women joining the Cabinet. It looks like Jacinta Collins and Julie Collins and Catherine King will go into the Cabinet, and Melissa Park will go into the Outer Ministry. They're four fine women, and they'll certainly bring a lot to the Ministry and the Cabinet.
Putting aside for a moment, Minister, the sense of disillusionment and distrust, I suppose, of the government, even amongst some pretty rusted-on Labor supporters. Leaving that to one side.
I'm not sure that I'd agree with that, but yes, go on.
It's what we hear every morning here on the soapbox, even from traditional Labor voters saying, look, I don't feel like I should be voting for my own party because they've turned into such a mess. But if we accept that the return of Kevin Rudd will sort out the internal machinations, how can we accept that the loss of so much talent will still allow for a functional and experienced enough government?
Look, I think it's terrific that we've got these new women going into the Cabinet. We've got a very talented backbench. There's been a lot of people there who've been champing at the bit to get into the policy detail that you get to experience when you're a minister, and particularly at that Cabinet level. We will miss the people who are leaving, but if you haven't got a full tank, then it's important, I think, to move on, because it is a gruelling job. You're away from your family a lot. There's a lot of travel required, of course. And Stephen Smith, for example, was saying, for 20 years he's been doing that commute back and forward from Perth. And I don't know if anyone who hasn't done it can really imagine it, but you're always jet lagged. You're always a few hours out. And you just spend so much time in the air above the Nullarbor plain. It is pretty hard for someone to do that for 20 years, and then another 3 years. If you can't commit for another 3 years, then it is important, sad as it is, to move on.
Experience counts for so much in politics. So, last Wednesday night, last Thursday, you lost, I think, six ministers. Greg Combey's announcement yesterday, I guess, really there's going to be some changes to policy. Right now the government doesn't exactly know what its policies might be. Is that unsettling in itself?
No, I think you'll see the core of our policies will remain. Of course, any new Prime Minister has the ability to make some changes, and certainly Kevin will think about whether there's tweaks that he wants to make to those big policy areas. But our values remain constant. We are a Labor Party, and for example, education reform, the Prime Minister's already said that he's committed to carrying through with some of the most important education reform